Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and this is a video about tariffs. And it's also a video about my trip to China to see the Chinese factories firsthand. This video is not paid by anybody. It is my own content, although you might see me in some factories. It's not about promoting those factories or those companies. I'm a reviewer on YouTube. I've done maybe 500 reviews. I was given an award by Google as #1 hired YouTuber in the world. That was a couple of years ago because of all the reviews I do. So I've had the opportunity to see tons and tons of products from all parts of the world. I also have a background as an MBA from UCLA, Anderson School of Management, and also an undergrad at UCLA in economics. So I'm wrapping all of that together to talk about tariffs. I think any economist would believe in free trade with a perfect world of information and perfect trading and equal trading. There's a whole lot that goes into tariffs. As a marketer of consumer products, I know the difference, though, in the price that tariffs will make. And what that means is you won't have the inexpensive products you have right now with high tariffs. Don't be fooled. Any tariff that is paid, no matter what the amount, gets boiled down. I've done all kinds of economic equations being tested on this stuff, and it boils down to about 60% of the whole tariff being passed on to the consumer. I've done equation after equation, and no matter what the elements in it, it always adjusts to about 60% being paid by the consumer of whatever that tariff was on that product. To have a closed-off economy means we'd have to make all the things we like to consume here. How can we do that? That would take years and years to build all those factories. And will we really build them well enough to have products produced as cheaply as some other country might produce them for us? Later in this video, you're going to see the factories and how efficient they are. I was so impressed. I had the most fascinating tour of many manufacturing places in China. It was an eye-opener for me. The people were so nice. I made so many friends going to these countries. It was so neat to get to know them on a personal level, where they lived, how much they were paid, who lived with their boyfriend, who had boyfriends, and how big their apartments were, and what family members they did or didn't live with, what their educations were, what their ambitions or dreams were, as well as working conditions in the factories and in their offices. It was a fascinating immersion into the China culture, and I've traveled all around the world, and every location has its own flavor and experience. And every continent and every city and every village has its own culture. So let me take you first into Eureka, which is located in China, but makes our American labeled vacuums that we all know for 100 years. Check this out. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and I've just walked through the history of Eureka Vacuum. I'm at the factory for Eureka, and how excited I was. When I arrived to the Eureka factory, they put a welcome sign up for me. What hospitality! With Eureka's 100-year history, we're going to walk back in time and into the future with Eureka Vacuum at this factory tour. Now let's go into the factory and see how it's all done. During my visit to Eureka's home office and factories, I met this guy named Dave. Now, Dave was a user advisor. Eureka had asked for community people to become involved and understand their factories and to give them feedback so their new models of vacuums would be developed with the user in mind. So, this is me talking to user advisor Dave and getting his thoughts all about the Eureka vacuum and his experience with Eureka, so we shared our experiences together. It was fun to talk to him because he had the same kind of family memories as I did. So we talked about who had to clean up more, him or I. I got to see some really great demonstrations of their latest models. This one was an upright model that did wet messes and dry messes. It's a wet-dry vacuum. It gets up dry messes along with the wet. I got to try it out. It was really swivelly. It was fun to play with our new models. And then me and Dave compared notes. And then I got to meet Lee. Lee is a manager in the Eureka factory. So it was off for the factory tour. One of our stops was in the testing of the vacuums. Lee explained to us how each of these vacuums are running for months at a time. And what that would mean is years, if you were to mop 30 minutes a day. Each of these vacuums were running for many years of use, like 6 or 7 years of use, with the whole time they ran continuously. These are the machines that test them. And I had asked, what happens if there's a problem? And Lee explained, the research and development team gets involved, they see what the problem is, they fix it, and then they retest all the vacuums. A large percent of them are tested in the quality control laboratory. I was pretty fascinated with the robot was twisting and swerving just like my hand would do if I was holding the handle. So it mimics a human hand, so the vacuum is on the floor and responsive to what the human hand would do running this vacuum. And then there was a shake test. Now that was a lot of fun. These vacuums are packed in boxes and they gotta make sure those boxes are packed good to not have any damage during shipping. Then give them a good shake. And then we went into the factory where they manufacture the motors. Now this was one of the most fascinating parts to me. There was a very large part of the factory. All those little copper things, those are the motors. And then the motors are inspected. Those are the cubbies behind the blue. Then we got to pick up and touch the motors. And Lee explained how fast the motors rotated. And then I learned from Lee that you have to have a super high fluid rotation because that motor is going to send the air up through fans through the vacuum that creates the suction power. This is the most important part of a vacuum are these little motors. Every one of them has to pass quality standards. This is the most important part of the vacuum. Lee explained how they were made up with many different kinds of metals depending on the physical qualities of the metals they needed to make this component for the entirety of the motor. And then it was a white glove test. We came to some finished motors and we needed to have the white gloves on to touch those. So we did. We picked them up and I was spinning mine around and around. There was no friction involved and that's what's needed. We got to further inspect them and the assembly line that those motors are made on. It's all robotic automation, which makes it efficient and inexpensive. That's why Eureka's prices have always been reasonable for their high quality of vacuums. We saw more of the factory and more of the robotics. We saw more of the conveyor belts, showing more of the different parts that go into the assembly of the vacuums, and then these really big machines that were behind me. And those are putting together the plastics and mixing the plastics that create a lot of the vacuum parts, with the robotic arms moving and taking out the parts as they were created and putting those parts on the conveyor belts. It was all very impressive. And in the end, comes out the boxes where the vacuums have been put in to be shipped all over. Even the packaging of the vacuums into these boxes for shipment had a robotic arm that sucked the boxes up with vacuum technology. That was a highlight for me because of course Eureka is going to use vacuum technology even in its manufacturing. I got a kick out of that. And onto the pallets it goes, and they are stacked to a certain height and sent down their conveyor belt. And as I looked at this part of the Eureka vacuum factory, I couldn't believe it. It was so big, it looked like vacuums were being created from infinity to beyond. The factory was huge. I just couldn't believe the size, the automation, and precision I saw in the factory that day. And of course, at the Eureka factory and showroom, they had a living room set up with a vacuum. Well, I don't know why I was surprised at all, because Eureka knows how to make cleaning easy, and they need living rooms to check it out and test it out. Of course, smart them. And I got to see even more of their showroom. And with Eureka's silence technology, when you're vacuuming, you don't have to wake the baby. It's not loud anymore. Their R&D development department has figured it out to make vacuuming quieter than it's ever been before. Eureka! So for over a century, from the past and now to the present and in the future, Eureka is the brand for families. I'm so happy to have had this factory tour. I hope you found it fascinating, because I sure did. The factory tour of Eureka was fantastic. It was so amazing, and I was so impressed. Now let me take you to the second largest manufacturer of electronics in the world, called Midea. Here's a video I made about my experience at Midea. I flew from my hometown of Santa Barbara all the way to China to go to the headquarters of Midea. Along with me were some other YouTube influencers that I got to meet and be with during my tour. We were greeted by beautiful Sophia. She was our tour guide. And to make things fun with the tour, we are assigned certain roles at Midea. I got supply chain director. Does that mean I get one of everything? Yes. And I picked out a badge that was number 2 and was supply chain manager. Midea then gave us gifts for our arrival. We opened them up and it was pandas, the panda twins, for us to remember our special trip with Midea. I had a lot of fun playing with my pandas. Look at this. Wow. And then came time for the tour of the headquarters. The presentation was amazing. They explained the inner workings of Midea to me and my fellow YouTubers. I have a question. A question. Do some of your manufacturing plants have specialties like smart home appliances, yes, for instance? Yes, of course. In certain cities? Yes. Oh. So I asked questions and I was given the answers by Sophia. And the answer is yes. There's all kinds of manufacturing plants in different cities for Midea to make all of their electronics. They even had a robot that looked human. He was raising his hand. I had to get a picture of that. And then I had a first-hand tour with Sophia as she showed me their latest in kitchen and home appliances. What a beautiful home this would make. Yeah, because it never goes bad. You can always recycle it.
Yes, it's always recycled. Because this
and then my friend Amanda, another YouTuber, said the magic words and the refrigerator opened automatically just by her voice. Open sesame and it opens. Midea is king of the world when it comes to smart homes. They have everything to make a house convenient and smart to make your life easier. They have programmable washers and dryers, they have vacuums, they have every kind of small appliance and also incredible cooking appliances of all kinds. Let's go see more of that. Now we've hit the mother lode. Look at all of this. Midea makes thousands and thousands of products. These are all for kitchen and home. Can you imagine all of these kitchen appliances? This is amazing because the technology means that the research and development department at Midea has made everything smaller and more efficient in all the computer parts and the smart appliance parts so that things are lighter and smaller and more efficient than ever with their energy needs so that you can make really great dishes really fast, really tasty with all those new key features of all of these. This is right out of the future, yet it is today. This is a complete air system for your house. It not only includes an air cooling system, an air conditioner, it also includes an air filtration system, so your air is clean. No more pollen, no more smoke, no more dust, no more allergens right within it. It is a smart device. It gives you a lot more information, but this is all about keeping your family's air clean and healthy in your house. Wow. And now in your kitchen, you can even do a magic trick. Watch this. Open sesame. Da-da-da! It's voice controlled and it'll open also with your hand motion. Now, this is a healthy refrigerator. I'll tell you one of the key features. It's got a ton, but one of the best is, see this drawer? Now, your fish is at the perfect temperature, not to freeze, but to be safe and healthy for up to 7 days. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and that means when you go get your fresh fish, you don't have to freeze it anymore. You're gonna have the texture and the taste as if it's just right out of the ocean. That's amazing. We all need one of these. Now Midea has thought of the future of washing with vacuuming. What is innovative about Midea's new washing machine and robot vacuum technology is Now, for mopping your floors, you never have to change the water again. It's hooked up to your washing machine so that clean water will come in and the dirty water will come out when it recharges at the station. That's amazing. No more changing out the dirty water tank and filling it up with fresh water. It'll do that for you just by your normal hookup for a washing machine. Can you believe it? This is astounding and exciting. And after the beginnings of the tour, we were treated to an amazing lunch that they brought for us. I got to try all kinds of new, delicious things I've never had in my life. That was exciting for me. It was a lovely chance for me to spend more time with Sophia, and we all cheered to the fun we were having checking out Midea together. Then off it was to the factory. They took us around in this golf cart. We all piled in together. They have so many buildings, we needed to take a ride in the golf cart. And since I was the supply chain manager, I was the one that got to go look at the factories. This is the largest factory of microwaves in the world. In this building, they make more microwaves and grill-based technology and other ovens, even built-ins, and steam technology. All kinds of things for cooking in this huge building. In fact, the sales of all those items are over $2 billion a year. Let's go see it. They have won international awards for their technology and their production and their quality. I'm so impressed. Check out those trophies. So you're saying that the whole assembly is automatic production right here. That's amazing. It's fully robotics for efficiency. How impressive. They have automatic monitoring. This is all done digitally by smart electronics. Wow. And this is their packaging department. And what they do is their research and development have designed a system to put it in the boxes and protect it with wrapping. All of it has been engineered so there's no damages during shipping. So it arrives to your house without any scratches and perfect condition to use right away. That's impressive. And they do it in a production line that's completely automated in order for it to be flawless. It's a lot of busy work, but the robots know how to do it inexpensively and efficiently, which helps with their prices. What a great tour I had with the factory manager. I appreciate all the information he gave me. Checking out the automatic assembly, those robotic machines were amazing the way they were so precise. They were doing their own ballet to make those microwaves manufactured seamlessly and perfectly. And the technology gives it automatic monitoring as well down the process, so every phase of the manufacturing works, all the way down to the packaging, from the boxing of it to the strapping of it with packaging tape. All that care goes into the manufacturing so you get the best of products to cook meals for your family. Midea has many buildings in its town in China that I visited, and many different manufacturing factories. And I was so happy to visit the microwave and cleaning appliances division. And so, from manufacturing at the factory of all the microwaves and all that technology for cooking appliances, here we are at Anto. This is the warehouse, the storage, the distribution, and the shipping. And this is all fully automated as well. Let's go see it. And this is the computerized brain of the entire operation. It tracks everything, it knows where every package is. It's very impressive with all the stats and all the intelligence in it for a fully automated system. So I've just learned this is an automatic tracking system for all the warehousing and storage. Everything here is scanned and moves along conveyor belts in order to warehouse it and store it. It's a very busy part of the processing of the products that are going to reach your home. So they place them one by one on these pallets automatically, and they go down the tracks. These tracks are a system designed intelligently so they know exactly where they're going to go from the tracks to be stored until they ship. This is an automated guided vehicle, and what happens is it automatically puts all of the packages on top of it after coming up from below on an elevator, all fully automatic. Then it puts it up into the storage in these sections where it's lifted up and placed exactly where it needs to be. Again, all automatically. And that is a major sorting system going on up there. It automatically and robotically will sort everything so that when it's time to ship, it'll be right where it needs to be taken out efficiently in the time it needs to go out. And the last step is the AGV, the automated guided vehicle, will take the big pallets of all the products onto itself and bring it right to the shipping dock. So the trucks will back up and in they go, off to their destination. Thank you so much for your tour today. It was amazing to see your fully automated system of your warehousing, storage, sorting, and shipping facility. It's remarkable. Thank you. And at the end of my tour, Sophia took me and my other YouTubers on the rest of our tour, which is to see their smart house. As we entered, the smart lights went on to light our path into the front door. When we walked in, it was dark, but this smart house technology let the room know we were there. It needed to light up. She closed the security door that knew to let us in, and with amazement, we took a look around the room. And then the lights went down and we saw a light show on the ceiling. It was our galaxy and our planets. I saw Saturn. I had never seen anything like this in my world of what a smart home environment could truly be for my family and maybe for yours too. We even watched a smart TV for a while with excellent resolution. What a special day it was to be the supply chain manager for Midea and to see their factory and so much about what they create to make living smart, easy, and beautiful. Midea was so impressive. I've made many videos for many of their products of Midea. Super high quality. They're a terrific company. I love them and I love the people there. I hope my tour of China was interesting to you so you can see how things are made there firsthand. And my bottom line for tariffs is, I wish we didn't have any. I wish it was a free economy. And if we have to have some, I want them as minimal as possible. Because I want to keep enjoying all of these great electronics that are made, no matter where they're made in the world. My USA lifestyle depends on convenience and fun. With my lifestyle, to take away some of the drudgery of other tasks, and the features and the quality of products made elsewhere can be much higher than ones that we might be stuck with if we had to create these manufacturing plants and make them ourselves. I'm Rebecca Brand. I hope you put your comments below. I bet there's a lot that's going to come this way. Whatever you want to do is fine. Just don't swear, because those words will get filtered out. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified of my next video. And let's keep making great recipes in life. And today's recipe is one of mental thought to talk about tariffs and other global issues that are affecting us right here and right now. See you next time. I'm gonna go read the news.